Have you ever thought what it means to truly love God? Hopefully, this monk will be a good lesson. In 1751, in the merchant town of Voronezh, a boy named Yegor Popov entered the world. At 17, Yegor was conscripted into the Russian army, but don't picture a soldier. He was a clerk, likely scribbling reports. At one point, a cancerous growth marred his face. In desperation, Yegor turned to prayer, pressing a towel which touched the icon of the Most Holy Theotokos against his affliction. By morning, the cancer was gone, his face restored. He became a novice in a monastery, either in the Vala monastery or Sarov monastery. You know, the one known for Saint Seraphim of Sarov. Whatever the case may be, he was definitely considered a monk in the Vala monastery, receiving a monastic name Herman, which is a variant of the name Germanus. By 1793, the Russian-American company sought to bring the gospel to Alaska's distant shores. Yes, that's a real company name. Times were better then. The Vala monastery chose Herman and a band of monks for this grueling journey, over a year across Russia and Siberia to Kodiak Island. They arrived in 1794, and the Aleuts people welcomed them with open hearts. 7,000 were baptized, and hundreds were married in the faith. Herman was probably like, there goes the solitude. There was a strong opposition from the Shamasal, that's the nerdy plural for the shaman by the way, who stirred up the local populace to kill here monk juvenilely. He thus became the proto-martyr of the Americas. The Russians weren't all glory either. Russian fur traders exploited the Aleuts, and Herman's band of monks stood firm against the injustice. The cost was high. Some monks perished, others fled. By the early 1800s, Herman was left to his own devices. However, that does not mean that he was alone in his endeavor. But before we go on, a message to our sponsors, meaning possibly you. If this journey moves you, consider joining our crowdsourcing platforms in the description of this video. For less than the cup of the most expensive coffee in the world, and I've checked, it's Kopi Luwak, don't Google how this civet coffee is made, you can be on or even sales of these channels shipped or bring to voyage. Okay, I lost the metaphor, but you get it. Back to the video. Now, think about the temptation surrounding him. He is left seemingly alone. There is no priest, the Russians are horrible to the natives. It would have been so easy for Saint Herman to simply turn back. Having no access to the holy mysteries, he could have thought, and thankfully he didn't, that his missionary undertaking is of no use. After all, he longed for solitude that he practiced while still in Valom. Providentially, he found it on Spruce Island, a rugged speck of Kodiak's coast. He persevered and opted to stay, despite everything. On Spruce Island, he built a simple cabin, a chapel, and a garden, living on berries, vegetables, and mushrooms, and the grace of God. When asked if he felt lonely in all the wilderness, he replied, "I'm not alone. God is here as everywhere, and angels too. There is no better company. With whom it is better and more pleasant to converse, with men or with angels? Of course, with angels." In any case, the saint founded an orphanage and a school for Aleuts, teaching not just faith but survival in the land that forgives no weakness. Though not a priest, Herman was no stranger to miracles. At Theophany, when no clergy could bless the waters, angels descended to sanctify the bay. Herman used that holy water to heal the sick, a testament to his unwavering trust in God. When a tsunami threatened, he prophesied that the wave would not pass the icon of the Most Holy Theotokos that he placed on the shore. So it was. He performed a similar miracle with a forest fire. Here is a record of a conversation between Saint Herman and some officers of a Russian ship. It's probably the most important thing you'll get out of this video. "But do you love God?" asked the elder. And all answered, "Of course we love God. How can we not love God? And I, a sinner, have tried to love God for more than 40 years, and I cannot say that I perfectly love Him," answered Father Herman, and began to explain how one must love God. "If we love someone," he said, "then we always think of that one, we strive to please that one. Day and night our heart is preoccupied with that object. Is it in this way, gentlemen, that you love God? Do you often turn to Him? Do you always remember Him? Do you always pray to Him and fulfill His holy commandments?" We had to admit that we did not. "For our good, for our happiness," concluded the elder, "at least let us give a vow to ourselves, that from this day, from this hour, from this minute, We shall strive above all else to love God and to do His holy will. This last sentence is the one most often found on icons of Saint Herman, and for a good reason. In 1836, at 81, Herman's earthly sojourn ended. Surrounded by his spiritual children, reading the Acts of the Apostles, his face glowed with an unearthly light. As he passed away, a pillar of light rose over Spruce Island, a final sign of a life well lived. His disciples wished to bury him in Kodiak, but a storm insisted. Spruce Island was to be his home. In 1970, the Orthodox Church in America and the Russian Orthodox Church outside Russia, which also happens to be in America, canonized Herman as North America's first Orthodox saint. His relics rest in Kodiak's Holy Resurrection Cathedral, but Spruce Island remains a pilgrimage site, its soil and spring water carrying the weight of his prayers. Thank you for joining me in honoring this humble saint. Holy Father Herman, pray for us. If you like ascetics, then you will love this video on Saint Isidora the Fool for Christ, or as her monastic sister called her, the Rag. Bye!